This is probably my favorite thing to can as far as meat to put up in my pantry.
Welcome to Whippoorwillholler. I'm Miss Lori and this is Mr. Brown. We live in the hills of Arkansas. We love the Lord. Keepers of the old way, but accept some of the new. We love to cook and we love to eat. We love to garden. It's in our blood. It's how we stay sustainable and fill our pantry. We do a lot of canning and preserving. We live a sustainable life. We love our family. We work hard. And every once in a while, we like to dance. So y'all join us.
I mentioned in a while back about needing to do some canning, and one of the things that I needed to get done was to can up some chicken and some chicken stock. This is probably my favorite thing to can as far as meat to put up in my pantry. I've done several videos canning chicken and broth, beef broth, Italian beef, Swedish meatballs, all kinds of different meats. Y'all have heard me say before that canned meat is just not one of my favorite things. If it was a necessity, believe me, I would be canning meat. But at this point, it's not necessary. So unless it's something that I really enjoy and like, I'm just not going to do it. But chicken, and y'all seen me do several years ago, I showed y'all how I bought 2 turkeys, I believe, and they were on sale. I cooked them in my roaster, made a lot of broth in there, cooked them turkeys down. I think I cooked them on low for like 24 hours. It was some of the richest, best stock. I'm telling you, it was so good. And the turkey meat was not overcooked, y'all. It was just right. And the taste coming out of the pressure canner and out of them quart jars whenever I made any kind of recipe with it, it just was so delicious. The meat always turns out moist and has a really good taste to it. Now I know a lot of yuns like to can chicken raw, and I've done that before too. It's not my preferred method, and there's nothing wrong with it. I've got nothing against it. It's just I like this process. I like the way it turns out better. I like the taste better, and I love all the rich broth that you get from it. So this is just another way that you can get all this goodness in your pantry. And if you've got a roaster like this, in fact I've got 2, but one of them's out in the shed, and I just really didn't want to go out there and dig it out. And I ended up getting 3 pretty good sized hens in here. And then in my crock pot, this is my crock pot. Not my slow cooker, but my crock pot. I've got a hen in it. So I couldn't get the 4th one in here, so I just stuck it in here, and it'll cook the same amount of time as this, and I'll put the same seasonings in it. So I'm going to have a lot of stock to put up and quite a bit of meat. And I'll probably do this process probably a couple more times this summer while I've got time to put up for this winter, because we go through this canned chicken pretty quick because there are so many recipes you can use this for. So y'all have heard me say before that I'm an ingredient canner, which means I can ingredients like I don't make a lot of soups and stews and different things like that and can it up. I can up beans and corn, or things that you would need to make a stew or soup separately, but I don't. But a lot of people do, and I think that's wonderful. But I'm an ingredient canner, and I think I probably got that from my grandmother. So what I got here is I'm going to season the broth, and I'm just going to throw in some onions. And I usually have quite a bit of leftover onion peels and stuff like that in my freezer, even bones, because I'll just kind of grab them and put them in a bag. Well, I've done used all that up, so all I had was some frozen celery. But anyways, I'm going to put a large onion in there. And y'all seen me, I can't remember if it was my last video or the video before, I had went out and I trimmed down the green part of my onions. And I had a bunch of them, and I dried them. And I've got some right here, I've got a handful, and I'm going to use some of them dehydrated greens off the onion. I'm going to put them in there. I'm going to put about 3 carrots. Now, when it comes to the onion skins and stuff, if it's not, and of course you can't always go by that either, if I didn't grow it myself, or it's not organic, proven organic onion, which is, neither here nor there, I have a hard time using the skin because I don't know, what I'm saying. I don't know what it's been sprayed with or anything else. Okay, this is about a half a bag of celery that I put in the freezer. So I'm going to say that that's probably about 3 stalks of celery, the leaves and all. And if you want to, and I might do it, you can put some, let's see, I was thinking I had some celery salt. I do. I haven't put no salt in here, talking about salt. But I'm going to put a little bit of celery salt in here too. Now this is all up to you what you want to put in your stock. I am going to put probably a couple teaspoons. So I've got onion, I've got celery, I've got carrots, I've got the greens that I dehydrated off the onions, celery salt, make sure all them carrots are in there. I went out to my little pot on the porch and I got me some fresh parsley and washed it, and I'm just going to throw it in there just like that. I'm not even going to chop it up because I will strain this stock. I'll strain it before I can it. And I even have some little celery out there that's not gotten too big yet, but I'm going to put it in there with the leaves and just throw it all in there because it's all going to make that stock taste good. And I got some fresh thyme. It smells so good. And I'm just going to put that in there. And I've got some bay leaves. I'll throw that in there. Now, what I've got here is probably 2 tablespoons of my homemade vegetable dry mix. And I'll put the recipe down below in my information. And what this is, see if I can remember all of it. This does have celery salt in it. It's got salt and pepper. It's got oregano. It's got marjoram, onion powder, garlic powder. I'm trying to think. Anyways, I'll put that recipe down below because this stuff is fantastic to put in any kind of your stock, or if you're making a soup or stew, something like that. But I'm going to put all this in there. That's about 2 tablespoons of my vegetable dry mix. Now, if you want to put some better than bouillon chicken base in there, or just your bouillon cubes, you can do that and add a little bit more taste to it. But I'm going to tell you this right here, it's going to be really good because all the fat from the chicken skin and just all that's it's just going to all cook in that. And it's about 10 o'clock at night right now. So I'm going to let this cook all night, and it's going to cook most of the day tomorrow before I can it up, and it's going to be good. So like I said, use what you've got to make your stock taste really good. And I am going to put some salt in here. You want to be able to control your salt. I'm going to put some pepper. And since my vegetable dry mix already had garlic powder and all that in it, I don't have to add any of that. The one thing that you got to be careful of when you're pressure canning stock or broth or chicken or whatever, like I'm doing right now, if you put dry sage in there, poultry seasoning has sage in it. And sometimes when you pressure can anything that's got sage in it, it'll end up sometimes bitter. You'll have that bitter taste in there, and you're like, what is that taste? And it could be the sage. So I don't, as much as I would like to put some in there, I'm not going to. So that's all I've got going on to put in this stock. It's going to be wonderful. And like I said, I got the same thing going on back here. So I've got 4 hens, all this beautiful stock going on. It's going to cook all night and on low, about 250. And then tomorrow we're going to pressure can it up. And the thing of it is, you can pressure can your stock with your chicken because it has to pressure can at the same amount of pressure and the same amount of time. So you can do them both together if you need it to. So anyways, I'm going to get this plugged in. I'm going to get it turned on. And then tomorrow we'll start the process of canning up this wonderful chicken. And I'm telling y'all, it's so good to go in there. And especially when I was still working. And it seems like I still don't have as much time as I thought I would have when I retired because I'm still busy. But anything that you need to use cook chicken for, you just grab that quart jar and there it is. It's done, it's ready, the broth is in there, and there's just so many things you can do with it. And to me, it tastes so good too. I've even drained the broth out of the chicken and kept the broth, put it in the refrigerator for something else, and made chicken salad out of this too. So like I said, there's just so many different things that you can do with this canned up chicken. So when the chicken and the stock has been cooking for hours on end on low, and it's all done, and I'm ready to get my chicken out, I'll debone that chicken. And all them bones I'll save for them, and I'll put them back for another batch of broth, because you can use them again even after you debone them the first time if you want to make some more stock. And I'll keep my broth, my stock warm, and I'll keep my chicken warm, and we'll be canning them up in hot jars and pressure canning them, and it's just a wonderful thing. And like I said, it's one of my favorite things to put in my pantry because it's so handy to have, and to me it makes a really good product. It's really good to use in any of your dishes. It doesn't look very appetizing right now, but this has been cooking, going on, let's see, about 16 hours. The broth, I mean, my house smells so good. So what I'm going to do at this point, the chicken's done. I'm going to take the chicken out and debone it. And then I'm going to take all the big bits. Actually, I'm going to leave this cooking a little bit and just let it keep, I'm going to keep it on low. And right before I get ready to can this up, I'm going to take the big bits out of it and strain it a little bit. But the longer that you can let this slowly cook, the better your stock will be. So, chickens are coming out, deboning them, and then we'll be back for the rest of the process. So I got my 4 chickens right here that I took out of my stock. Y'all remember I had one of the chickens in my crock pot. So I took it out, and the broth that was in here, the stock, I put in here with the rest of this. There's also, because your hens and your chickens will come with, of course, their liver and their gizzards and the necks and stuff, and I went ahead and cooked them too. I can go ahead and stick them in the freezer, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to mash it up, and I'll give a little bit with Hank's his food in the afternoon. It'll be good for him. So I'm gonna, when I debone my chicken, I'm gonna put my meat in here, and then I've got a thing here to put my bones in, because I will keep my bones and put them in the freezer to make more stock. And this is my stock right here, and right before I can it up, I'll take all the big bits out of it and anything else that needs to come out of it. But it smells absolutely wonderful. This is some of the best broth and stock, whatever you want to call it. I call it stock because the way it's cooked. And this is just my favorite way of putting chicken or turkey up. You can also, if your husband or even you or somebody in your family are big duck hunters, you can do the same process with your ducks. Just leave your ducks whole, and you can make you some wonderful duck broth like this, and then can your duck meat up with the broth. And whatever broth is left over, you can can it up and have just the duck broth. You can do that with pheasant and just, you know, your wild turkeys, whatever. You can do the same process. So anyways, I'm gonna, this chicken's still hot, but I'm gonna get into it, and I'm gonna start deboning this chicken. I'm gonna bring y'all over here where y'all can see this better, the stock. Still has all the onions and carrots and all the bits of herbs and stuff in it, and that's what I'm going to get out before I start canning my chicken. And I've had to do this before, if I run out of stock before I get my chicken, you know, all my chicken in my jars, I'll just have to use some, which I don't really like to do it, but I always keep Better Than Bouillon chicken base, and I always keep some of the organic chicken stock in the pantry that comes already, ready to use. I always have them for backups for everything. So, just in case I was to start running out of my homemade stock. Okay, I'm just doing a few jars at a time because I want my jars to stay hot. I want my broth to stay hot, and my chicken is warm. And I've got my pressure canner over here. I've got 3 quarts of water in it with a couple tablespoons of vinegar, and I'm letting it get hot too. And I'm keeping my jars hot in the oven. It works. I have no problem with it. So I'm just going to do a few at a time because I want everything to stay at the temperature it needs to stay at. Now, what I like to do is, let's see, figure out how much chicken at one meal you'd probably use. And I'm going to say there's certain meals that I would use probably 2 cups. Now, I didn't shred this chicken. This chicken's just kind of chunked up. And when you pressure can it, of course, it's going to, that's why I say don't shred it. Just kind of chunk it up. And that's about 2 cups. I'm just going to do this, and then I'm going to eyeball it here in a minute. Now, if you want to, you can do this in pints. And like for one, or if you're doing just for 2 meals. But this right here does good for me and Mr. Brown. And that's 2 cups of chicken in there. And I can do just almost anything with that, just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and put my chicken down in this one. If you're doing pints, it'll be, here on my elevation, it'll be 10 pounds of pressure, 75 minutes. With quarts, it'll be 10 pounds of pressure for 90 minutes. And I can do, for me and him, there's so much I can do with this chicken with just that amount right there in each jar, about 2 cups. And like I said, I'm going to do this several more times. I had wished that back during the holidays, around in my area, there was no turkeys for sale, on sale, I mean, not for sale, but on sale. Just the usual price. And I messed around and I didn't end up buying some extra turkeys. And that's usually what I do, because I like to put them up like this. I like to can them, because I do like turkey meat, canned up as much as I do chicken. So we got our, I'm not going to put no salt in there because there's salt in our broth. It's not necessary. This is when I open a jar of this to make like a chicken pot pie, for me and Mr. Brown, it's just the right amount. If I'm doing just chicken dumplings for just me and him, it's just the right amount. I'm going to leave about 1 inch headspace. Then I'm going to wipe the top of my jars to make sure there's nothing left on there. My lids. Now I'm going to hurry along doing this method right here, so you may see me kind of skip around and so that I can get these in the pressure canner. What kind of pressure canner do y'all use? My grandma always used a Presto, and I've got 2 Prestos that are pretty old. And then I had purchased a couple years ago a Denali, and I like both of them. I have not put out the money for an all-American pressure canner yet. because this does just fine for me. So they're going in the canner. And I'll have to do 2 canners. So let's continue the process. The refrigerator and use it for another meal. You know, I was talking earlier that you can do, I know some of y'all asked me about how to do wild meat and stuff. You can do duck this way, you can do pheasant. I will put down in below the video, I'll put in the information, my link to all my canning videos. There's several of them out there with all kinds of different things to can. So, I'll leave that link down there and you can click on it and you can go to any of the things that I've canned and put up. There's a couple of them that I really don't put up anymore. It's just something that I guess I just didn't see necessary, not something that we would necessarily eat all the time. So, okay. I think that looks about like 2 cups chicken. Now I gotta get my broth. And just debubble a little bit around the edges. I forgot to debubble my other 3, but that's okay. I think they'll be okay. Okay. Okay, our jars are in here. I'm using my Denali canner. I always make sure that, you know, everything's working right. Your seal, rubber seals on there good. Now on the Denali, you go ahead and you put your weight on there. That's the way it works. So, I'll have to kind of adjust my burner a little bit once it gets up to pressure. And then once it does, I will put my timer on for 90 minutes. So the Denali, you go ahead and put your weight on there. That's 10-pound weight. And it'll do its thing by itself. If you got a Presto, you let it vent, and then you put your weight on it and let it come up to pressure. So there is a little bit of difference there. And yeah, you can see where I've used it so much, and I need to get that little bit of rust around where the steam and stuff comes out of there. But it's a good canner. Okay, this is where we're at. We've got 7 quarts of this beautiful chicken and wonderful chicken stock. It's out. It was in there for 90 minutes on 10 pounds of pressure. And it's out now. And now, what I've got left is I've got 1 more quart jar of chicken with broth. And then I've got 5 quarts of that good old stock. And it's fixing to go in the pressure canner now. So, we've done pretty good today. So our second canner load is out. And I'm so proud of what I got done today. And I do plan on doing this a few more times before winter time gets here. And get quite a bit of chicken or even turkey with its own stock put up in the pantry for the winter time. This is my favorite way of putting up chicken.
So I hope y'all try it. If you've never put up chicken, don't be intimidated by it. It's really an easy process. Oh yeah, it's a job, but it's so worth it in the end. If y'all want to see more of my canning videos, just go down below my video and I'll put the link down there for all my canning videos. Hank's taking another siesta. Some of y'all comment that you want to see throughout my little cabin. So in some of my videos, I like to kind of just shoot around the cabin and show y'all. Most of my finds come from flea markets. And of course, I love to decorate and switch things around. I love the wood, but I also love a lot of color. So I hope you enjoyed the video. And I want to share something with y'all. I made a double batch of banana nut bread because I had a bunch of bananas. But what I really want to show y'all is my favorite recipe book that is my go-to book for anything that has flour in it. This is the best little book, and you can find it online. I found this at a flea market, and it has become my favorite little book. So God bless everybody. We love y'all, but most of all, God loves you. Have a beautiful, wonderful, blessed week.